Welcome to the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur. My name is Rita Perez. Hello. I've been a travel advisor for over 10 years and am navigating this winding road of entrepreneurship with you. I created this podcast because I wanted to share all the things I've learned from leaders both in and out of our industry that I really wish I would have known way back then. But alas, the important thing is I'm aware of them now, and I want you to be too. Ready for this week's show? Let's jump in. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I feel like I should be telling myself that. Also, thank you so much for your patience these past couple weeks. I really appreciated just being able to unplug a little bit, and now I'm coming back rarer than ever, got fires blazing. Before we get into today's episode though, I wanted to share some information. If you are not an ASTA member, highly recommend that you become an ASTA member. There's actually lots of really great discount codes right now going on if you want to become a new member. And why that is so important, especially now more than ever, because everything that we just experienced this past year. But the national board is up for election. And so there are 5 specifically at-large positions that are open. And there are some flippin' fantastic people that are on the lineup. Like I for certain already know 3 people that I'm going to be voting for, and the 4th and 5th is up for debate. I think I might have the 4th person, and we'll see about the 5th one. But anyways, there's lots of really great candidates that I know are going to fight their booties off, 1, and 2, are extremely passionate for our industry, and 3, are very knowledgeable in each of their own respective rights. So, you can only vote for these people if you are an ASTA member. If you have benefited in any way from any of the government assistance that we've had in this past year, you need to join ASTA and thank your lucky stars that ASTA fought for this industry and continues to fight for this industry very hard. Prior to that, the reason I joined ASTA was because of, and I'm not going to remember what the numbers are, but when the court hearing was happening in California, where they were trying to figure out independent contractors and should they be paid as employees, which would have been so detrimental to so many of us in this industry, especially because many of us are affiliated with host agencies. ASTA was the one who fought on that and was able to win that for us. There will always be some sort of fight coming around because everybody wants to get their dime from everybody else's money. So ASTA will always have our back, and there's really great leadership, and being able to kind of shape the next board is going to be so incredibly beneficial now more than ever to you. So that is my quick plug. Join ASTA because you should have been in ASTA already, and to join ASTA so that you can vote for the new board members as well. There are discount codes. If you need one, reach out to me. I can share a couple of the discount codes that I've seen. I don't benefit in any way from any of this, but I would love to share a discount code if you can save a couple bucks here and there. Alrighty, so let's get into this super fun episode, my rebrand. Oh my goodness. So I first did a rebrand in 2018, and I wouldn't say that I really did half of the work that I'm putting into this right now. And I think that's really my lesson learned from my 2018 rebrand, that you need to be more mindful and don't have FOMO and pick somebody just out of the blue. Not that I picked somebody out of the blue. I really went in FOMO, and I did trust that person, still do trust that person, but they are not a branding strategist in the methodical way that the branding strategist that I'm working with now is. And one of the reasons that I chose my branding strategist was because in our initial consultation call, she said something that made me very uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, she is going to push my comfort zone, and I think I need somebody to do that for me. So I will have a couple different updates about this rebrand, but I kind of wanted to show you and discuss some of the work that I've put into this rebrand before we've really gotten started, because I just had my deep dive strategy call this past Monday. And man, did my branding strategist, she had such a mindful questionnaire for me to fill out, which I hadn't filled out a questionnaire before. Just such intuitive answers. And I think that was also the reason why I did so many of the things that I did in my pre-work to kind of prep. So my branding strategist is Kindly by Kelsey. And yes, she is a brand strategist. This is not somebody creating a logo for me. We are creating a brand because, frankly, I don't want to have to do this again for a very long time, if ever. So the brand that we create from here, I want it to be like a long-term brand. I had been cyber stalking Kelsey for about a year when I made the decision in last August 2020, to pull the trigger and rebrand with her. Why did I make the decision to rebrand so quickly? I was focusing way more on cruise retreats and these people transformations than I was on my original niche of group cruises when I did my rebrand in 2018. And that's something, if you are thinking about rebranding for yourself, don't invest this type of money if there's been no major changes, or if things just aren't outdated. If you're just I just want a new logo, I feel like I need a new logo. That's not what a rebrand is. There's something has stimulated a transition. So my rebrand from 2018 no longer served me and the vision that I had and the people that I wanted to serve. Now, Kelsey is so freaking awesome that she has a long wait list. And so I signed up with her at the end of August 2020 so that I could go ahead and start working with her of April 2021. Something that kind of extended that time was she went on maternity leave. She had a brand new baby boy. And something that extended that further is that when I originally talked to Kelsey, I didn't want to redo my website. I felt like I had made a great investment already, to redo my website. And I just didn't want to make another big investment. However, with all that time that had passed by, I was realizing that my website was not serving me. I was not getting the clients that I wanted. I was not getting the traction that I wanted. I did not make back the investment. And I by far want to make back my investment this time around. So I had contacted her a couple months, I think maybe February of this year, and said, is it possible still to do the website? And it was, but we had to push back my date again, which was fine with me because it gave me more time to really think in. And for me, what I enjoyed about that is back in August, I thought I had an idea of what I wanted to do, meaning the people that I wanted to serve and the direction that I wanted to go in. And I am so grateful because last time I pulled the trigger really quick. I'm so grateful that I've had a lot of time to really think and deep dive into who my ideal client is and all these different things that you need to know about your ideal client in order to provide the information that someone like Kelsey, who's my branding strategist, is going to need to create that brand. And also the other people that are helping me out, such as my copywriter, who is the wonderful Emily Matris. Emily Matris did help me with my rebrand in 2018. I was a beta tester of her course to do the copy for your website. And this time around, one, I just don't have the time. And two, I really wanted to put my trust and my faith in an expert to take care of it for me. Like I have done a big investment this time around because I wanted to get it right. And I didn't want to wing it like I had done it previously. So when it came time to really start deep diving, I remember I was on a call and I was told not to focus so much on X, Y, and Z. And I thought like I was having like an identity crisis at that time because I was like, no, this is who my person is. And not that that's really changed much, but my person really isn't a title as more they are a mindset almost. So instead of really saying someone who's a corporate executive or a small business owner, I identify them as a people first leader who is looking to make a bigger impact. And that's something when I was going through my identity crisis earlier this year, I was able to call Kelsey and be like, look, like this is the direction. And she's like, actually, this stuff with demographics is like poo-poo, and it's really the psychographics because we need to get into their head, not into all these different labels that they have. And that really helped me out. And again, like affirm, like, okay, I made the right decision in selecting the branding strategist that I did in Kelsey. So what other investments have I made recently? And like the two biggest investments other than Emily, which I'll discuss a little bit more in detail later on also, is I am big into astrology, and I have talked about this on the podcast before. So I hired a brand astrologer to kind of look at my chart and tell me the things that I couldn't verbalize. And holy cannoli, did she ever do that. I worked with Leslie Tagorda. She is the Savvy Luminary at New Moon Creative Co. I did a 2-session pack with her, and we unpacked what I would call like my 3 different archetypes based on my astrology chart, and everything just was so on point. So if you find this hokey, just you might want to like fast forward because I just find this so fascinating, and it was so just eye-opening. And I was finally for the first time able to verbalize, with her help obviously, everything that I am and everything that my customers are. It like highly recommend. And this really helped formulate a lot of the pieces of the ideas that will be coming out with in my copy and in my branding, because I have 3 major archetypes. I don't want to get too much into the astrology, but I was able to identify myself as a builder, a creative, a creator, a connector, and a strategist, which I don't know that I would have necessarily called myself that before without kind of like doing this deep dive work. And my client, I was able to come up with a term for them as well, and I call them the nurturing trailblazers, which it is just, I don't know how it fits with astrology, but clearly it works. It works because when we were talking about my ideal client, I was like, yes, that is the COO that I work with every year. So anyways, highly recommend doing that kind of a deep dive. And if you're not into astrology, you need to do the work on your ideal client. You need to do the inner work in yourself also. This is not like do this little session and that'll be it. Like this is going to take time. And take the time that you need in order to feel comfortable and confident in the messages that you are creating, no matter how it took you to get there. Another investment that I made, which is similar to brand astrology, but also different. And you've heard her here on the podcast before, Nermeen Zachary. She is with Strengths Edge, and she had a program called Ignite, which I have been a part of for the past 5 weeks. And that was really to find out what my strengths were and how I can utilize them in my business and to help with the words that I needed. And things that came up from that, some of my top strengths included connectedness, which remember when I said one of my archetypes in my brand astrology that we found out was connector? So it's just a little freaky how everything connects all together. I also found out that one of my highest strengths was learner, which I kind of knew. And I think in my podcast episode, I had even mentioned, I'm probably learner because I love learning different things, including learning more about my client, what they do, how they want to serve their people, and how they can best serve their people to create a really tailored experience to their cruise retreat. So, and then the third pre-investment that I made was with Emily Matris. And again, one of the things that I really love about Emily and Kelsey is just how intuitive they are. They're not asking simple questions. They're diving deep and they want to know the nitty gritty. And if you don't know the nitty gritty, that kind of means that you are not ready to rebrand. One of the questions in this process was things it wasn't, how old are your people? Or where do they reside? It was, when you walk into your ideal client's house, what does it look like? Because that symbolizes what they value. So it's those type of, and I hope I'm saying it right, those type of psychographic information that is really helpful to these creatives that are going to be making a freaking awesome brand. And I can't wait to see it at the end. Am I nervous? Heck yes, I am so incredibly nervous. But all the designs that I've seen Kelsey put together have been amazing. Every piece of copy that I've read from Emily has been so engaging and so oh my gosh, give me all of that. So I know I'm in really great hands. Even though it may make me, and probably will make me, a little bit uncomfortable, but they are doing, and it's not like they're just creating pretty things. They are doing the intuitive work. They are doing their research on who my ideal client is, who my competitors are, what other people are doing in my field. And that's also why I hired the experts, because I didn't want to do that work. Because frankly, also at this time, I don't have time to. So, next steps are, it's a waiting game, so I'm just waiting to get back some copy. We're going to be working on a mood board for my brand, and then I'm going to be getting 2 brand presentations, which I'm so nervous about, but again, I know they're going to look fabulous. And even if it's not me, because that's the other thing. You and your brand are 2 different things. So I may like one thing, I like color, but my travel business brand is going to be more muted, and I may not be crazy about that, but I think that is what my brand needs. It needs a little bit more of a muting, because we need to create that blank, clean slate, clean palette, so that my ideal clients can dream. And everything's going to be a little different. And I'm not saying that you also need to have things a little bit more muted. I don't know what your brand is. That is just the direction of my brand, because we do a lot of with idea creation and idea sparking. Yeah, that is what we are embarking on. So I should have a better vision of things hopefully in a couple weeks from now, and I should have my copy back, and I'm just so excited. Now I'm blubbering here. I'm if you have any questions about the branding process, why I chose the people that I chose to work with and kind of like do some pre-work with. Anything. It runs the gamut. I'm really an open book when it comes to this, and I'm a geek when it comes to branding type of stuff. So if whatever question that you have on me about this process, please don't hesitate. Shoot me an email, send me a DM. Join my Strategic Travel Entrepreneur group. Plug there. And let's connect, let's chat, because I think this is really important. And I think in a lot of ways it's taken a little bit lackadaisical in our industry, not on purpose, but because I don't think people are informed on what they should be doing. So that is it for me this week. Thank you for bearing with me and me gushing on all things about my rebrand. And I actually hope to have some of the experts on here in some podcast episodes that we'll be slating out. So timeline is that my brand should be completed, knock on wood, in about 6 weeks. And then my website will obviously take a lot longer because there's a lot of technical stuff that goes on with that. So stay tuned, and I'm going to give you updates. So, all right, you guys have a good week. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining me on the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur. Please subscribe and leave a show rating on your favorite podcast platform. Oh, and don't forget to take a look at the show notes for important information and links. See you next week.